The Retro Buzz starts right after this.
And we are live. I almost forgot how to do this. It's been a little bit too long, but we're back. We got the Retro Buzz live here with episode number 40, and we've got with us Mr. Glenn Planamento back on Earth.
I am, with all my games behind me finally. Copying your way.
Listen, there's no such thing as copying. People like to say that, but it's not.
It's copyright.
It's emulation.
Emulation.
I was not prepared for that. That was a little too much. I'm literally almost crying now. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you very much for that rendition of Alvin and the Chipmunks. That was amazing.
Then we have the birthday boy with us, Mr. Doug Smith. How old are you now? 30 what? 35, 36?
Yeah,
21.
36.
36.
21, 35, 36 years old. 36 years young. I mean, I
He's
still go to the toy. I'm a grown man that walks into the toy aisle. First thing he goes to the store. People are like, "Oh, you need help finding something for your kid?" I'm like, "Yeah, my kid. Yeah, kid." But yeah, 36 years young. So appreciate the birthday wishes and all the kind words I've got from people today. I greatly appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, it's great to have you here and take the time to speak with us, hang out with us, and talk gaming. And we've also got this guy. He's here. He's stoked.
I'm playing the new Mario game.
Oh, how
Mario
you like it so
30.
far?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing Mario Galaxy. That's like the only one I played.
So, Daniel, let's get into that real quick and talk about this. He started playing this, and Doug and I were kind of like, "Oh, really?" He said you can't use it as a controller.
You can't connect it to your Switch because it's just like the original Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy. You have to use these Joy-Cons to detach from your Switch. So that's a big bummer, but that's the only way you could control Mario.
That is kind of like a.
I don't like that. I mean, I got my copy today. I have yet to open it, but I already don't like hearing that. It's kind of a bummer. I mean, if that's the case, then
It is.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because that's the way it originally was. But I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Don't run that game.
I like having my Switch like that.
Don't run that game on a hacked unit.
Oh,
No,
Glenn,
absolutely not.
you don't know what you're talking
crash
about,
it.
Glenn.
Well, so let's talk about that for a second. So, like everybody else, I pre-ordered 2 of them. I even though everybody's like, "Oh, Best Buy is going to cancel your order," I got 2 of them. I bought one for myself, one for my son, and my wife and I'll share. She really wants to play Nintendo Super Mario 64. That was her big one. I really want to play Sunshine because I haven't played Sunshine in since the GameCube first came out. I had that game.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in playing that. Glenn.
Hey, now you don't have to buy it for the GameCube.
True, and that's really expensive. Glenn, what do you think about them bringing the 64 Mario to the Switch? Does that entice you to open up your Switch?
For the first time?
Yeah, that thing's still pristine in the box. It hasn't been touched. But I am in a Nintendo mood as of late. I was talking to you about it the other day. I actually took out my GameCube right here, and I modified it, and the modification went well, But I'm a little disappointed with the unit itself because, first of all, it's disappearing. It's like a spirit right now.
Yeah, I was like, what is
But,
going on?
The plastic, I guess, didn't age too well because if you know me, I'm very delicate with working on these things. Took the screws out, marked out where the screws went. When I went to put them back in, probably a good 5 or 6 of them kind of cracked, and I got the little right there. So now I got to repair those posts. But to modify the GameCube, I only spend about $10 on a called a Xeno chip. You solder it right on the board, and then on the bottom here, when you go to the bottom of your console, there's a little slot here. We get this little board. We could put a micro SD card slot in, or you could do it right in the front of the unit by getting one of these SD cards, doing it that way. So it's a total of $10 to do it, but now I'm still ticked that
You should have bought
shell-
one. You should have bought one at a
and you
Goodwill
know what?
or something.
And you know me,
Yep.
and that's what I always do.
Yep.
This time I'm like, nah, it's not gonna be a big modification. I'll just do this.
The
Now,
only one.
I was actually on Thingiverse finding 3D printed like tops, but there's no bottoms. And so if anyone knows of a source for GameCube shells, like colored shells, because like the N64, and other Nintendo consoles, they started releasing other colors.
Right.
Just disappointed now they got those posts. It's always in my brain now that the posts are not right. Like my brain.
So what are you just gonna
right.
are you just gonna super glue it and then hope that it holds, or
Well,
are you gonna try to 3D
Plan I'm
print
going to
it?
do right now, you know how you have shrink tubing?
Yes.
They have different sizes. I'm going to put some shrink tubing on there, not shrink it yet, but just put it on there. And I was going to put in either like Bondo or an epoxy, slide down just to get the size right. Then I would pre-drill a hole. So it's fixable, but the console is pristine. And for the post just disintegrate when the same screw went in the exact same spot and they just went and cracked.
Well, I think you
It's almost a
learned.
Kathleen Kennedy level annoyance. Almost.
I think you learned. Don't mess with your good one. use another one.
Right. Yep. That's it. That's it.
Isn't that always the way it happens, though? Anytime you start something that's going to be like a simple project, it snowballs and turns into this catastrophic, oh, crap, well, I got to fix this, or this broke, and now this $10 project is a $50 project, or this
That was
30-minute job is now a 4.5 hour
7, 8,
job.
and 9.
Yep.
That's basically 7, 8, and 9. That's exactly what happened. I just steamrolled into a disaster like this ended up being. But the good part is the GameCube's got quality games and it works. 7, 8, 9, nothing.
Well, so what you're saying is, if you bought one of these, you're essentially getting a Kathleen Kennedy remix, because people are complaining about this. They're complaining about this and saying it's emulated.
It's all emulation.
Yeah. Why not
Right.
the original ROM?
That's right.
Why is it emulated, Nintendo? What are you doing?
Right. It was not. They didn't recreate it. Like a lot of times when they do these remastered editions, they will literally recreate the game, new code, do it the right way. I don't necessarily have a problem with it being emulated if you got good frames per second, and apparently even N64, the graphics are enhanced a little bit, looks a little bit sharper. So I don't have a problem necessarily with that. But not that I hacked my unit is not hacked. It's still in the box.
Hey, I was gonna say, you
Right,
probably
that's
haven't even
fine.
taken the wrapper off of your
No.
of your
it's
copy
still
of Switch.
Launch day,
His
Once
time
they fresh.
capsule Nintendo Switch. That's what it is.
but there are people obviously who do that, and I don't know if Nintendo did it on purpose to detect a hacked unit, but apparently it's going to crash a unit, or potentially could crash a unit. So just be careful if you do have one that might be modified.
That's Nintendo for you. I mean, if it doesn't crash your unit, you'll have a knock on the door.
Right, either way, they're totally within their right. I mean, if your machine's online, Xbox, I think, was the people who really started with that. You modified your Xbox, and they determined you were banned, and the machine was banned. And I get that. I mean, they're protecting their rights and their consoles. And we always complained in the retro community, a lot of times we hacked and got ROMs because they weren't reselling them anymore, right? You couldn't get them anymore. Well, now they're doing it. So I have no problem with them protecting their property in those cases. When they are re-releasing, games that they couldn't get before on a new platform, they're well within their right to do so. Just telling you, like, when you go on a first date with someone, bring protection.
Except for you, Glenn, not
Wow.
having a date.
No, he actually had He actually had a
Yeah.
few dates this week,
Be
believe it or not.
quiet.
No, he
Yeah.
did. He seriously did. He had.
I did.
He did. He
Yeah.
did.
Why?
Mhm.
What?
What?
They watched the show and they
What
wanted
were
to go out
they?
with him.
What were they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude.
Just want to take a second and give a shout out to the super chats. We got one from Daniel May and another one from P-Dubs wishing me a happy birthday. So thank you guys. I greatly appreciate that.
I
Very-
don't have any dates. I'm only 8.
All super
That's probably
chats
good.
today should go to Doug's birthday gift.
No.
What
No.
could we get him? We could get him.
No.
Nope, he already has
Let me-
that. He probably has 2 or 3 of
yeah,
those.
let me just stop you there. No. Yeah.
You don't want yourself, say, a, I don't know, 10-inch or 15-inch tall. What was it now? Those robots I was telling you about last time.
Oh,
One
from the
was
cartoon.
Iron Giant, and the other one
Oh.
was from See?
He already has it.
Big
Look,
planet.
he's looking up. He already has it.
I'm looking up at my Iron Giant. But I mean,
Wait,
who
wait.
doesn't need another robot in their life?
We have to
Yeah, no.
ask you,
Exactly.
Doug. We have to ask you because we didn't have a show last week. We have to ask you about the Millennium Falcon that you bought, the big one. What was the response of your wife when she saw this $400 toy sitting in her dining room?
Hanging in the dining room, right below the chandelier.
Well, I wasn't able to figure out a rigging system, so I haven't hung it from the ceiling yet. I did put it on the dining room table, and she was like, "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "This is our new baby." I'm like, "Do you like it?" Huh? And she's like, "How much did you pay for that?" I'm like, "Before I tell you that, I'm like, let me show you all the cool features." So I give her like the used car salesman type of thing, where I like walk her around the Millennium Falcon. I'm like, "Let me tell you about these features. You know, it's got AM, FM radio, 6-disc CD changer, leather interior. You know, give her the whole spiel." And then she's
It
like,
did the
"Well,
Kessel run in less than 32 parsecs. I mean, come on.
Exactly. I'm like, it's got sound effects from the old trilogy and the new trilogy. It comes with action figures. I'm like, it's got 6 porgs. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, and that really helped seal the deal. And then I told her the price, and she just looked at me and said I was an idiot. So, I mean, it was pretty much
Wait,
the
wait.
experience I was expecting.
Speaking of birthdays,
Mhm.
I know what we should get Glenn for his birthday.
That's a long
Uh-oh.
time from now.
A girlfriend.
Oh, mail order bride.
I think they're about $20,000 for those.
Oh, here we go.
We'll stop it there, right?
So with that, you're still alive. She didn't kill you. You still have
Yeah,
it.
like I said,
Yeah.
we have an odd setup to where me and my wife have separate bank accounts, so we don't have to like share the finances. So when I go and make a stupid, genius purchase, such as a $400 Millennium Falcon, I don't have to ask for permission. I just kind of have to ask for forgiveness when I'm like sneaking it in the door, and it because it has to go somewhere in the house.
I don't think she was mad per se about the cost because she understands you're a collector.
Yeah.
I think she was more mad like that thing is like if you guys didn't see it, go over to
It's
Doug's
huge.
Instagram.
Yeah.
The thing is huge.
Yeah, it was even bigger than I anticipated. It's one of those things like you can see the pictures of it, but then I opened up the door when the UPS guy dropped it off and rang the doorbell, and I was like, ah, crap, that's easily like 25% bigger than I was anticipating as I looked down at this giant box, and then I was like, well,
That's usually the response I get. Like, it's my wife will always say like, okay, gamers are the only ones that can get away with hoarding because it's collecting, but she doesn't like the big stuff around. Like, where are you gonna put it? And I start mentioning it goes outside of this room, and then she's like, oh no, you have to find a place inside the room or you're not getting it, type of thing.
That's kind of the ground rules I've been set. Like I've got all the nerdy stuff upstairs in different rooms, downstairs where we're civilized, normal individuals, except for like when company comes over, we're still super nerds. And I'm like, time to whip out the fine china. And I give everybody like these plastic little Land Before Time cups that came from Pizza Hut in 1984 and like some Aladdin dinner plates. You know, we're real fancy in that way. But everything else, my wife's like, no, you can't have any nerdy stuff downstairs. That's the adult area of the house.
Well, the one good thing is something like that. It's a collectible you can keep out all year. I just blew $400 on a couple of Halloween decorations.
Hey, you didn't
That's
blow.
bigger than my dining room table, you know?
Yeah,
So at least
Halloween-
that's something you can enjoy.
Halloween is the best holiday there is. So, I mean, in my humble opinion, that is a worthwhile investment. I mean, that's the gift that keeps on giving. You don't have to take those decorations down. Like if you got, beef with the mailman, Glenn, you set that stuff up, hide it a little bit on the porch, give them a little jolt. They'll take better care of your packages.
It's always fun watching Blue when I take this out because absolutely hates them all. He wants to like kill them.
That's you saw my response to you, Glenn, on Twitter.
Yep.
You said, "Am I crazy?" I was like, "Yeah, pretty much." For buying $300
Simple
worth
as
of.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
Just, yep.
Well, I admit, every Halloween I take a week off from work to set up the whole house. I have projectors. I got these animatronics. I dig up some corpses. I lay them around the lawn. It takes time.
It sounds like
What, you got
you're-
an Indian burial ground in the backyard there, Glenn?
He probably
You got some,
does.
sounds like you're
I can't-
burying up your
can't talk
wife's-
about it. No,
Cannot
that's
confirm
what
or
the guys
deny.
get mad.
I mean, that's pretty interesting. All right, let's kind of move. Let's switch gears here. We got Michael B. He said that was a good. He's telling you it was a good investment. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to hear.
So let's talk about the big debacle. It's not like it's on the lower third or anything. You know, it's the elephant in the room. Let's talk about this here. PS5 versus Xbox, and I titled it this way only because of the way the pre-orders went. Doug, you managed to get one. So what happened?
I was fortunate enough to just like be on the internet at the right time, because the way it unveiled is like Sony had their big little, presentation online where they're showing off new games and everything. Great presentation in my opinion. I liked what I saw. And then they're like, all right, pre-order is going to go live tomorrow. We'll let you know when. And previously, prior to that, they had already sent out like this special email sign up thing for people to be like the first to know when pre-orders are going live. And then like not 2 hours later, retailers just started going rogue and like started selling pre-orders without notice. Like Walmart was the first. They sold out in like 20 minutes, and then Best Buy and Target jumped in, and then was it like I think Newegg and Amazon. It was just like dominoes, because everyone was like rushing to these websites trying to pre-order them. If they got lucky, they got into the first like 10-minute window, they were able to get one, which is great. Otherwise, they were getting a lot of error messages, or they would put the PS5 in their cart and they wouldn't let them check out. Just all sorts of issues.
I had that
website,
problem with Best Buy.
Yeah.
I had that problem.
GameStop's website legitimately thought it was under a cyber attack because it was getting so much,
I saw.
flooded traffic to it, that it had like this, you have been blocked message on their main screen the moment you typed it in, because it was literally shutting them down, and they had to like take the website down for 10 minutes to try to recode it and, handle the extra traffic. And of course, in typical GameStop fashion, they come back and said, hey, we got, PlayStation 5, but we're going to bundle it for $799.
Oh, man, that really pisses me off when they do that.
That was ridiculous. I would not pay for that.
Yeah.
That's why I hate pre-orders to begin with. I just hate it because of what just happened here. But then when they start saying, yeah, we got them, we're going to sell all this other garbage you don't want to get it.
Yep. Pretty much. I mean, the bright side is like you can return a lot of that stuff typically to GameStop. So like you pick up your pre-order and it's like, all right, I want to return this, this, and this, and the guy just groans at you. But I'm like, if you wouldn't, try to screw me over with an $800 bundle when all I wanted was the $400 system, then we wouldn't be having this discussion, guy. But that's the why and the reasons GameStop are struggling like they are. And of course, Xbox, they took note of all this fiasco and everything, and they tweeted out, hey, don't worry, you can pre-order the Xbox coming on September 22nd at 8 a.m., on this website, and this website. They were very open and clear, and there's none of this, surprise pre-orders type of thing. They just laughed at the Sony debacle, and, they're just going to reap the benefits of it and not get as much negative publicity as Sony has been taking these last 48 hours.
You know what I love about Sony and Microsoft is each launch, one's able to spit in the other one's face with a bad launch. When you had was it the Xbox One, when they were saying you couldn't use used games on there, right? It was like you couldn't bring your games over. Sony was sure, oh yeah, we're fine with that, man. Do it.
Yeah.
Microsoft got slapped in the face. So this how happened. Microsoft's like, oh, it's our turn now. Hey, we're gonna do it right. We're not gonna screw you over like Sony just did.
But that's a
so
first,
I find that
though.
more entertaining than the launch itself.
But
yeah,
but that's a first, though.
The political mudslinging back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Sony's usually ahead. Sony usually has it together. The only thing that they didn't do well was the online presence, right? With the online gaming. Xbox, they're not going to take that from Xbox. Everybody knows that. If you think that Sony's online experience is better, well, sorry for you. But
just triple protect your account.
Yeah.
Get stolen.
But
hey, I mean, if you don't mind having your identity stolen, you got a free like $20 game as an apology from.
Oh
someone.
yeah, I mean,
I was one of those people.
but hey, but Doug, you'll spend the next two years watching your credit report because and all
That's entertainment.
and the expense that you probably went through to lock your credit. I mean, it happens.
All your money
It was a nice
should.
little backhanded whoopsie.
All
Yeah.
your money, every time you spend some money, it just goes like this is how much you have right now, down, down, down.
They'll keep.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
Millennium Falcon.
but see, that's the other thing too, right? So
Mhm.
Xbox had the Game Pass.
Yep.
Then Sony came out. I forget what they're calling it now, but they're doing something a lot similar,
Similar.
right? And they're saying, "Oh, well, you can play all your PS4 games." I think
Yeah, it's a
don't
lot of
think they
the,
went
the
all the way
heavy
back.
hitting PS4 titles. Basically, it's like a lot of their big success stories of this generation. You said, hey, you can download these and play them, instantly on day one with PS5, which is, their version of the Game Pass, and it's also something they're trying to, in my opinion, facilitate a fill-in because honestly, there's not a whole lot of launch titles.
No,
I mean,
and
and
that goes to the
That's kind
question.
of typical.
So Eminem wrote in the chat here. I'm going to pull this up here. He wrote this on here. He said, "Steven, did you pre-order the PS5?" I did not. 3 times, just for the sake of doing it. I had it in my cart, and I went to hit checkout, and they weren't sold out, and it kept coming up with an error. It says it can't process, it can't go forward, or whatever it was saying. It was in red letters. It wouldn't go past that screen. So I was like, forget it. And you guys know, even from the beginning, I was not very compelled to get it launch day, that or Xbox, because there's nothing that really jumped out at me except the Spider-Man game. That was the only game that jumped out at me that said, that looks really good, but do I need it launch day?
No,
Right.
you don't. Why can't you just get it
Dad.
like
I'm
a
amazed to hear
week
that from
later.
Daniel, first of all.
a week later?
Oh, a
after
week
the
later. You
launch
hear him, guys.
day?
A
There you go.
week later.
After the launch
He's showing
day.
you how patient he is at his young age.
Yeah.
You stunned him. Look at that.
Like, just why not a week?
Well, it's not so
Yeah.
much
I
a
don't know if
week.
you
You're going to
guys-
be waiting a
I don't know
month.
if you guys read it. There was a super chat here from Nathan Henderson, just wishing Cool Toy happy birthday, and he gave you a super chat to go towards your Millennium Falcon payment.
Thank you so much, Nathan. I appreciate that. I appreciate that greatly. Thanks, man.
So, Doug, sounds like you
Mhm.
have the great wife because she yells at you almost every day from spending like so much money. And what are you gonna do about it?
I'm going to compliment the cake she made for my birthday to no end and tell her how beautiful she is and how much she is greatly appreciated because I'm not a fool and I like sleeping inside and not outside.
So you just love spending money by collecting.
Yes, and I'm going to admit right now that I will be trying to buy an Xbox pre-order next week as well.
I was just going to say, so are you going to actually go with both consoles right out of the gate?
Yeah, and I will be the first to admit I have zero argument as to why I'm doing it other than the fact that I just feel like I need them both. I don't really need them both because there's nothing really on both of them that's like the Halo game is the main reason I was, excited for the new Xbox, and then it got delayed. So I'm like,
Till 2022, I heard now.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna eventually get it, but like, I'm like you. There wasn't a whole lot of these launch title games right out of the gate that are like really singing to me. Besides Spider-Man,
I'll be honest. A lot of the Switch games that are coming out in 2021, I am so glad I bought it because this is just one side. If they do a Zelda like this, all next year, I mean, they did
so
confirm a Switch Pro. Now, I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to use different games, which I would imagine.
Ooh, I can't wait to get that and leave that in the box.
He's going to leave that.
Oh
in the
wait,
box.
wait. What if it comes with retro games?
Listen, RGT85, he did a video on it. I didn't get a chance to watch it. My power went out, and I was scrambling to get the show back up after the power came back on. So, RGT, you'll have to watch his video if you didn't watch it. Good friend of the show. So, RGT85 did a video on it and talked about they did confirm it. That's as much as I know because that's what his title says. So, you'll have to go watch that. Unless Doug, or Glenn, if you guys got any info on that, I don't, unfortunately.
I just want to know what the box looks like.
so you can put it on top of the other one, have them side by side. No, I unless for whatever reason, unless the Switch Pro or whatever it ends up being called, has physical different games,
Yeah.
I'll stick with my day one Switch. I'm happy with it. I don't need 4K resolution for my Switch games. I'm just happy playing them portably the way they are, and
I agree.
retro titles like Mario All Stars and things
Yep.
like that enough to keep me busy for quite a while.
Agreed.
And that's still the biggest thing for the Switch, so I hear, since I don't play it, is you are playing the same game you're playing on your machine. You're taking it with you. It's not having to be recreated. It's not a drummed down version. You're playing the actual game. So kudos to people actually enjoying it.
Yeah, you need. I'm telling you, Glenn. Everybody in the chat needs to tell them.
Open it
up it up. Play the Switch.
What are you waiting for? It's
Link's
good stuff.
Awakening. I found everything.
Oh,
I
I love that
completed
remake.
it 100%.
Look,
Got all the
none of you
hearts.
guys have played any Zelda game till you played it on the original CDI machine. Okay,
A what?
that's the only way to enjoy Zelda is on CDI.
I'm hoping we get a Game & Watch like we're getting this Game & Watch Mario next year.
Yeah, when is it? When is that coming here? I didn't pre-order overseas, but
I pre-ordered overseas just in case, but I'm still planning on.
He
doing the
learned from the
American-
TurboGrafx 16 debacle. He's like,
Yes.
I know. I didn't
Not doing
pre-order
that
that
again.
either. I didn't pre-order it
Yeah.
either. And if I do get it,
But
I'm leaving it in the box.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that we haven't seen pre-orders for it yet, because was it like November 12th is when that was supposed to come out? It was supposed to come out. So, I mean, time's ticking. Let's get these pre-orders. Of course, we say that, and we haven't even seen the Arcade 1-Up Miss Pac-Man Best Buy pre-order go live, and it's been on their website for like a month now.
So let's talk about Arcade 1-Up now that you bring that up. So everybody's been asking Arcade 1-Up, where is they're getting buffering here. Hang on. It could be, I hope it's not the internet dropping. Well, let's keep going. Everybody,
we're still good here.
Yeah, everybody's talking about, okay? Everybody's been talking about pinball. Arcade 1-Up, pinball. When's it coming? And I happened to see in a David McIntosh going back and forth in one of the groups and stating, okay, that it is getting close to the end of the year. It may not come until next year.
Wow.
Somebody asked him point blank.
I'm going to defend him a little bit. I'm going to defend him a little bit because of what's going on. I mean,
I mean, there is a
my yoke
pandemic.
would have been out in July, and we're going to get it out in September. We're ready. We're getting going, but it's a small device. It's not screens, the play field. They're dealing with a lot more manufacturers. It's completely out of their hands. I mean, they are at the will of other companies making the products that are running behind. It's just a fact.
Yeah, I mean, we know how much Arcade 1-Up has like been, anticipating the release of this, and this was going to be like their big bell cow this year, their grand release. So if they're not able to pull it out this year and get it out ready for holiday season, it's not for a lack of trying, because I guarantee you it's an all hands on deck approach to get that out there. Like when we last talked to David, he joked around about, he was like, we'll get this out if I have to drive the 18-wheelers across the country myself. So like, obviously, if that's the case and it doesn't happen, it's because circumstances well beyond their control, where they legitimately just could not get this stuff in the country and unloaded in time for a retail release for the holiday season. So I hope that doesn't end up being the case, but stranger things have happened, especially with this world pandemic that we're living in right now. So I guess nothing should shock us at this point.
I guess anything's possible, right?
Shouldn't this be like a real life Stranger Things or something?
No. Well, either way, I'm curious, but they did deliver. They brought a brand new arcade cabinet out. Well, Doug, you want to kind of roll with that one?
Oh yeah, we got some Golden Axe. Finally. I mean, that was one of those things we saw at CES, and then they said, hey, this will be coming out this summer. Originally was their kind of initial ETA. Granted, they didn't like ever give it a date or anything. They just said, hopefully this summer. And then summer came along and people still didn't see or hear anything about Golden Axe. And then we saw the brick pop up pre-orders that said, hey, you'll have Golden Axe in November, but that was only for Canadian customers, not US customers. So people started getting a little antsy saying, hey, Canada's getting in November, but we still haven't heard anything about Golden Axe in America. Then lo and behold, we got a nice little beautiful trailer. And then we find out that you can pre-order it now exclusively through Arcade 1-Up's website. and the current ETA for that shipping is middle of October. So very soon, right around the corner. And it's got 5 games, 4-player cabinet, and who doesn't love Sega? I know I do.
Sega.
That'll be.
There you go.
I also do too because it has Sonic.
But does it have flash processing is the question.
Right. What does?
Sega does.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this stream back up.
I was about to say, I don't see it live anywhere anymore.
It's live, but it's I think on Facebook it's live right now.
Gotcha. I don't see it on the YouTube.
YouTube is live now. So, guys, if you're watching this in the middle of the show, you're gonna catch that it was dropped.
So the magic television, we will glue it together.
Hey, I told you we lost.
Wait.
We lost. Well, no, we still have the recording. So those watching the recording, it means nothing to you guys. But you guys, I gotta shush my son here, so he lets me talk here.
With the taser.
I know. I need a cattle prod. The show is back up, so if you want to share it out to everybody on YouTube, let everybody know it's back. I don't know if, like I said, we lost power earlier today. I don't know if it was just a hiccup, a glitch in the internet. Doug and Glenn were still here, so nothing dropped there. It might have been the CDN. Who knows? Anything happens when it's live. But
true.
If you missed it, you'll have to go back and watch the part where we talked about the arcade 1-up stuff. Glenn, what the other part where you were supposed to talk about? We have other stuff from arcade 1-up, right? That's coming down the pipe, I believe.
We do? There is?
Yeah, Big
Tell
Buck,
me. I wanna know about
Big
it.
Buck Hunter and Miss Pac-Man, man. Come on.
Well, Big Buck Hunter.
That's on your list.
Yeah, but I can't read.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I'm older than words. I'm older than print.
Dude,
Come on.
dude.
The
Well,
stone tablet.
okay, did you see that they also have the mini ghosts now and the mini Pac-Man that you can get at like Five Below?
Little
Yeah, I saw
keychain.
that. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to Five Below yet, but that's something
I'm
that's
going to get
coming.
them soon.
I haven't
It's
found
getting
them-
cold.
I haven't found them myself, but I've been on the hunt because we recently just had a Five Below open up in the last like 2 months as a grand opening for the first time. So I was like, maybe they'll have some.
I'm gonna have to check it.
Right now so far.
I'm gonna have to check it and go, but
Yeah, did you guys pre-order a Big Buck Hunter?
I didn't yet. I have a story
did.
about that.
I'm really.
Dude.
Did you really?
It did. Good.
I did because Best Buy birthday coupon, so it was like 10% off. So I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well use it.
Listen, up until today, I've been paying for 2 houses.
Mhm.
I couldn't pre-order. I have 2 kids. Yeah, for those that don't know, when we moved into the new house 2 years ago, the house that we came from, where the original studio was, has been on the market for 2 years, and it was just closed on today. So that's gonna free up some money for me. So I can start so I can start pre-ordering some of this stuff.
You have a whole nother problem because your game room's getting full. So now, like George Carlin used to say,
I'll move it to your house.
buy stuff and you buy a bigger house, and then you buy more stuff and you buy a bigger house. So you're almost due for a bigger house.
No, I got plenty of room in this house. In fact,
Can you pre-order a second house?
I'll take over my wife's or our music room or something. I'll figure something out.
You
Nice knowing you.
You could just use that money to build another house to make it like
No.
a game room.
Well, no. Okay, so Daniel is correct. I'm looking this way because on camera it makes it look like I'm looking at him.
Anyways.
We did talk about this. I told him I was thinking about getting like a 40 by 40, one of those sheds that put together and wire electric to it.
A he shed.
Yeah, and set it up and move all the arcades and the gaming stuff out there,
Yeah,
make it air
that'd be great.
conditioned, and leave the studio here, but move that out there.
And
Yeah,
it'll
little
just
slice
be
of
like
heaven.
a regular studio, and then when it's like game nights, we could just
Yeah.
walk outside and go over there. And
Yeah, so that's something that, we've been
even
kind of
if
thinking
it's
about.
winter,
Yes, yes.
that would be fun. Just walking in the snow.
So let's get into something else real quick. With iArcade, I think Doug, you're gonna hit this one up. Jong's back. I saw he was live today. He's back on the air. So Doug, iArcade's got some new games coming.
They did. They signed a deal with Technos, famous for things like WrestleFest and Superstars. Unfortunately, those games are not coming, but we are getting some awesome, cool, old school arcade wrestling games. We're getting Map Mania, getting Tag Team Wrestling, and we're getting Mania Challenge, as well as was it like 14 other Technos games. So some really cool ones, some nice beat 'em ups, because that's another thing that Technos is really famous for, is their beat 'em up series. So anxious to see those and excited to continuously see this iircade library expand, because they're really showing that they've got a lot of different diverse games. They have like a new volleyball game on there, like a beach volleyball style game. You got beat 'em ups, you got wrestling, you got shooters, you got RPGs, you got platformers. So there's a little something for everybody on the iircade, which is, going to be something that helps them stand out from the crowd with that expansive library that just keeps growing and growing. And of course, Jong said with a smile that they're not done yet. So look for hopefully more future announcements to come.
So Glenn,
Right, and the good thing about that is they're building, corporate connections. So may not have all the newer games yet,
but this is how you start. You get your foot in
Yeah,
the door.
exactly.
Mhm.
And you never know. Retrosoft Studios, like WrestleFest 2, we had Michael Manna and the guy on. I can't think of his name. Maybe they'll get that on the iircade.
That would be sweet, because I mean, honestly, it's not that they didn't try to get WrestleFest or Superstars. Those games kind of have a historic reason why they can't be licensed today. One of the obvious ones is the Tag Team Demolition. You can't really get their rights right now, and for what I understand, WWE has been a pain to even deal with when they're trying to talk about the rights to that game. So you would have to physically make changes to that existing game just to try to even work around that type of thing. And that's a significant financial investment there, let alone, the licensing. So unfortunately, we're not going to see Superstars or WrestleFest, but we also are going to see some amazing arcade games that kind of led the way for those amazing wrestling arcade style games.
So I've got a question for Glenn. Since he's a big Neo Geo fan, I know we all like Neo Geo, but Glenn, you really love Neo Geo, and it's new cabinet. That's SNK. That's not really by SNK, but it is an SNK.
Nope.
Isn't it because there's
Hang on a second. So that cabinet's coming, and the iircade, the same price. Which one do you pick?
I won't hide the fact that I do like the iircade principle, but the machine itself visually never attracted me. The Neo Geo to me is just a nicer looking cabinet. Now, from what I understand, though, the Neo Geo emulation in there has not been the best. So sometimes the outside doesn't always equal the inside. So it's a tough call. I mean, if it's something, I do really enjoy Neo Geo. A lot of people do. So just for that nostalgia part of it, I would probably go with the Neo Geo.
Okay.
Even though I know in my heart of hearts that the horsepower and the overall experience is probably going to be better with the iircade. That's just me personally.
See, I've kind of gone the other way. I said, if both companies approached me right now and said, we'll each give you a choice, you could pick one or the other.
Red pill or blue pill, yeah.
Yeah. Not give it to me. I mean, I'm buying it, but they gave me the lowdown, the specs, whatever. $500 for the cabinet. Which one am I going to pick? I'm going to go with iircade. You're right. The Neo Geo one looks better, but I don't know, man. There's just too many.
They get you for the iircade, or is it?
I think the emulation is what gets me with the SNK, with the cabinet. The only reason why is, okay, what was it? A couple months ago, we bought $30 SNK mini arcades that we could hook to our TV that look phenomenal.
That was a great deal.
They look phenomenal. What I mean, I could stuff that into an arcade 1-up and throw SNK graphics on it and make it a Neo Geo, arcade.
Come out cheaper. Yeah.
And it's cheaper. So I listen, I'm not downplaying the emulation. Most people don't care. I'd have people in here, they probably wouldn't care. But I'm looking at it from the price standpoint, right? For $500-$600, where Jong's cabinet, some of the games are probably emulated, but I don't know. There's just a lot better. I'm gonna say it, Jong. If you're watching, if you're listening, I'm gonna say it. The experience The
is.
experience
Yep.
seems better on the iircade if I had to really.
Yeah, I absolutely admit it. From a hardware point of view, the iircade blows out of the water. But for me, walking into the room visually, it's just not. It's just too generic for me, I suppose. And
I
I
agree.
guess it's supposed to be, you know.
Well, look
Where
what
the Neo
Meatball
Geo,
Saucy
it's
says.
an iconic machine.
Meatball
Mhm.
Saucy says, he thinks the Double Dragon skin for the iircade is really nice. I mean, I could see that.
Right, and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they have the Dragon's Lair skin too, didn't they?
Yep. Dragon's
They're
Lair.
both-
Yep.
Right.
They're both
So
very
that
aesthetic.
would be really nice as well.
So
Skin it
okay,
up.
so here's something from Matt Heyman that we didn't know. Apparently, they said they're going to add a switch to add the blood, so that they're listening to the fans. So that's good. That's a
Yeah.
good start. I know a lot of people were really downing on that.
They also sent out an email with that same notification that said not only are they going to have the switch for the blood for things like Samurai Showdown, but they're also going to try to refund all the American people that pre-ordered the shipping charges.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so, I mean,
what's the reason
that brings-
behind that?
I
Apologies.
didn't read that. Yeah, I didn't read that far. I just saw free money, and I was like, okay, I'll take it.
Well, I'm
mean,
not saying
I don't-
turn it down.
If
but-
someone's wanting to save me money, I'm not going to ask them why. I'm just going to say yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, also that the iarcade is not released, and neither is the Neo Geo cabinet.
Mhm.
And I know there's the Neo Geo cabinet's kind of been going around, and people have been tearing a little butthole on a couple of things, but it's not released yet, so they're going to be making some changes. Now, personally, I didn't order either of them, honestly, because neither one truly drew me in. And at this point in the game, with as much stuff I have here, I need to be more selective now what I get.
But can I
but
ask you, Glenn?
It's not
Can
the-
I ask
yeah,
you?
go ahead.
Is it because they market it, both of them market as a bar top and not a 3/4 to full size arcade?
Yeah, I personally am not a bar top guy at all. I'd rather have something, if it's gonna be small, recreation, that's fine. Almost like a New Wave Toys
Mhm,
style of
mhm.
machine. I would have been happy with that. Or an arcade one-up size where it's 3/4 or bigger. But the bar top, I mean, again, I know people like that. I mean, if I look at the AtGames Legends machine, technically that could be turned into a bar top. I mean, it's a modular system. You just don't put the base on it. It's options. But I'm going to be honest, neither one of them, like the games on the iarcade for me, nothing drew me in. Although they have Dragon's Lair now, those kind of games, which is kind of good. Which I just could play them in other fashions right now. It's not enough for me to spend the money for that, I guess, experience. I know we talk about experience it has
He's
on there.
coined that. He's
no.
coined that phrase.
He has. It's his catchphrase. And from the reviews, from people who have touched it, including Cool Toy, the controllers seem really good. I would have liked, though, there was 2 digital sticks. There's a lot of new games on there. Swap out for analog. Just the digital joysticks again didn't draw me in for a modern first-person shooter game. They're better for the older games,
Right.
but then some of those older games really just weren't ones I enjoyed personally. So I'm out on both of them. But if someone was to say which one would you want,
Yeah.
visually, I would have taken the Neo Geo just to say, look, nice looking cabinet.
So, Daniel, we have the Miss Pac-Man countercade versus the arcade one-ups. Do you ever play? I mean, I think you played it like once or twice, right? You played the countercade, but you gravitate more to the big arcades. Oh, he's going to be bashful. He's going to all of a sudden just be bashful. Okay. Well,
yeah.
So I don't know. Like, since I've gotten the Miss Pac-Man countercade, like when we have game nights, hardly anybody plays it. They go to the big arcades, or they go to the Legends, or they go to the Gamer. Actually, the Gamer gets played more than the countercade.
I mean, it's all about like options. Obviously, the countercades are great for people that have space constraints. If you don't have space constraints, why would you go with a countercade? I mean, it's plain and simple. Like if you put a Miss Pac-Man 3/4 scale next to the Miss Pac-Man countercade, the only person that's going to go to that countercade is somebody that is a small child. I mean, let's be real. They're going to go.
Well,
to the
that's
bigger,
what I
better-
thought too. I let my nieces and nephews,
Mhm.
use it.
Yeah, smack on that one, and you don't have to worry
instead
about
of
it.
trying to pull on the joysticks, right?
But if you got got the space, obviously you go with the 3/4 scale because number one, it looks the part, and number two, you're just going to be more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm just looking here at the
I also worry
comments.
about the countercades and playing it, just sliding around during the game as you're moving it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess good
it
feet
really
would keep
depends
it on there, but
on the game, because like that's one thing we really haven't seen. Like we haven't seen like a Street Fighter 2 countercade, but if we did see one, that thing's going to move because you're going to play Street Fighter much more aggressively than you play
Right.
Miss Pac-Man or Frogger or something like that.
Right.
Like you're really going to start getting in there with the joystick movements and the quarter circles and things like that. Miss Pac-Man, Frogger, not so much.
So I want to put this out there. Michael B, the Game Genie, says, I'm buying a Miss Pac-Man countercade for my daughter's room. She wanted a little one. Otherwise,
Right.
She has no interest. So let me tell you this as a guy. I'm 6'2", playing the countercade. I cannot play Miss Pac-Man without if I play with my left hand, I cannot play it without bumping player 2 almost all the time. I
had the same issue when I bought it, and that's why I noted it in my review, because I was like, I don't think I have the world's largest hands, but like,
no,
I just couldn't avoid it. Like I was like, why is the
there's
game
nowhere to
resetting?
rest. There's nowhere to rest your hand, and then the right
is too tight.
Yep.
I felt like I was playing like Pinky Up, like super sophisticated, because I was trying to control the joystick like this.
So what I'm saying,
you're playing Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I am saying this, Michael. Even though you're going to put it in your daughter's room, it could still be a problem, and it could deter her from playing it, because you don't need big hands, and you're still going to whack player 1 or player 2. I almost think that Arcade 1-Up should have put
in the front panel,
right on the front panel where there's no speaker, because the speaker's on the right. They should have put them on the. I know it's not true to form with the arcade, but honestly, neither is the countercade. So you have the hand resting positions. Put the 3 buttons in the front. Call it a day.
Right.
That or use the smaller. What are they? 36mm buttons, or what are they?
No, smaller than that.
Smaller than that.
Standard 28.
38.
Yeah,
Okay.
Standard 28 to 30.
So the smaller one,
you
whatever the other ones are, the smaller ones. They probably could have got away with the smaller ones in the same position, but not full size arcade buttons.
Yeah.
Just not.
Agree.
It's not a good experience. Here we go, John. It's not a good experience. Yeah, 24. Rex is a 24
it's
millimeter.
Genius. Every time you say, "Can you hear me now?" We got to pay Verizon 15 cents. So genius.
No, the guy went to Sprint, didn't he? He jumped ship.
Yeah.
He did jump ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
So before, because we're getting toward the end of the show, we're not going to do a post show because 1, it's Doug's birthday, and 2, it's been an extremely busy day for me. But P-Dubs and the crew are going live. I believe it's 9 o'clock. Michael B, Game Genie, you can confirm it in the chat room. The Super Game Room dudes, they'll be going live at 9 o'clock East Coast time. So you get your fix. You'll be able to go over there and chat. But one of our community members that watches the show, she wanted to bring up that Richie Knuckles is having an online auction. I'm going to pull this up here. So if you guys want to get some really authentic arcade, memorabilia, whatever it is that you want, he's doing it on the 27th of September on Sunday from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight. This is going to fund to help him reopen, because obviously we're dwindling down on COVID. Sherry reached out, Briggs, she watches the show, her and her son, and good friend of Richie Knuckles, and asked if we would promote this, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. So go support those guys. Go support Richie. I was going to say Ricky. Ricky was another YouTuber. There's a YouTuber I watch, and I forget the name of it, but he always says, Ricky! So it just came to my head. But anyways, go check it out. And I know a lot of guys, last time Richie was on, we got autographed DVDs we bought from him. He didn't even make it to the we sold them out on the show here. He didn't even make it to the auction. And the t-shirts. So but go support him. This troubled time with COVID. It's
help bring that arcade back open.
That's
we
it.
want to see that Kong off happen next year. So
we want to be there at the Kong off. We want to stream it live.
The plan is for us to be there.
So,
episode 300, we're going to be there.
So one other thing we could talk about before we go, AtGames really bounced out a couple firmwares this week. We got not only 5.1 but 5.2. 5.2 launched.
Yep.
And some more Taito games. And we're not going to get into that because I know we cover that on Legend Center. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of firmware. But what I wanted to ask you guys is, with the Taito games that have come on there, what has been your favorite Taito games that you've been playing this week or since they've released them on the cabinet?
I always love Bubble Bobble. I mean, the music gets me every
Yes.
single time. I end up walking around humming it for the rest of the day. I'm not terribly great at the game, but I still enjoy playing it just because, like I said, cute little dinosaurs, bubbles, super addictive music. And then there was a couple of scoreboard, leaderboard games that I actually enjoyed playing. There was that Alpine Ski. That was a fun one that I never really got into prior to that. It was just one of those things that if I saw it in an arcade, I probably would have walked by it. But I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. And then like an hour and a half went by, and I realized I'd been playing it for an hour and a half. So I've enjoyed those two quite immensely thus far.
And Rex, before we get Glenn on that, Rex says if we go to the Kong off, he'll go. So that would be cool. That'd be cool if we did a huge meetup.
We are going.
We'll set up.
It's announced when it is. We are going to be there.
I'm bringing my production stuff, so we'll have multi-camera
show
shoots.
from there.
We'll have 4 cameras set up. We'll have 4 microphones in front of us.
Yep.
So, the 4 of us will be there, but we can bring additional ones for guests, so we can set up camera shots. So we've already talked about it, doing that. So, Glenn, what about you? I'm with Doug. Bubble Bobble. We've been playing it. My wife and I have been playing it.
I don't know why I like it so much, but it's Bubble Bobble.
Yes.
It's a game where I'm like, why would I like this game? But you start
cute dinosaurs.
but well, they're actually people. They're actually people that got turned into dinosaurs. That's a story. But it's just when I saw that game, I'm like, what? This game looks really dumb. And then I played it, and it's addictive. It's addictive, and the tune gets stuck on your head.
Yes.
Long after you're done playing it. It's just a fun game. And I'm going to be honest, that's the only one I've been playing so far. Because as soon as it was on there, I just...
Until Space Invaders comes. Then you're going to hit Space Invaders up.
Oh, yeah.
And destroy everybody.
I am definitely waiting for Space Invaders.
Ka-thunk. Pew, pew, ka-thunk.
Yep. Cole will be coming down. Not again, Dad. Get that game off. Nope.
Well, Daniel, we played Bubble Bobble.
But it's not one of my favorite games.
Okay. No, but of the title, I know. He's young. He's young.
Yeah.
I'm more like Pong and stuff.
Oh, okay. No, good.
Glenn's like, I'm all ears now. I'm like,
Even though I suck at it, I still enjoy it.
That's okay.
I got to fix this to where I can look at him because it looks like I'm looking the opposite
Make sure
way.
I play you, Daniel, next time I see you in Pong then.
I
actually do have like a mini console that has Pong, Centipede.
Centipede is another one that he really likes and he plays a lot.
Yeah. Doug gave it.
Good game. Centipede's a good game.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's one. But on the arcade and honestly on the gamer, I can honestly say that people have been playing the pinball and the fighting games more on it because you don't have the spinners in place of it.
More natural hand placement.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems a lot, at least from my perspective with the gamer. Like I wouldn't say everybody that has a Legends should go out and buy a gamer. I'm not saying that. The gamer's great. I'm going to be completely transparent and honest. If I didn't earn it from doing the show, I would have not bought it because I have the Legends. There's no point.
I don't want to cause any sales for them, but if you have a Legends, the main control panel comes right out. And you can technically plug it into any TV set.
Well, for 1.1, but not. I mean, you have to go through a rigmarole on the version 1, the Sam's Club one.
Right.
The only thing I don't like, and I said this on the show, and I'm being completely serious. It wasn't part of the act. I do not like version 1.1 that they're not using HDMI, and I understand why they did it, but for guys like us, you
there
can't.
Goes your streaming capabilities for your
Pretty
saving
much.
to your recording devices.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not.
It's one of my favorite features of the Legends Ultimate that I could dial and record and stream things like that. That's something I've always wished I could do on my arcade one-ups is like hook up a capture card and stream and play from them, things like that. I can do it on my modded consoles, but I don't want to have to do that for every arcade one-up. I want an HDMI output, and that's something I hope everything in the future releases later on down the line with newer cabinets is something we see because especially with like online fighting games. I mean, come on,
even the gamer gamer has HDMI. Now, the one thing that's nice about it is if you want to flip your TV sideways, You can make a pinball table out of it pretty simple, or monitor if you want to do that. But I will say, and I've told them this, doing it wirelessly, you're gonna notice lag on pinball. I mean, there's no. You saw my review. I had people playing it here, and I'm actually more critical than they are. When I did OTG, wired Ethernet, it played almost flawless. In fact, and I say almost flawless because I still think it played better on the Legends Ultimate. And I understand that they're still working out the kinks in it, but Leprechaun King, we were playing it. How about it? Don't you think it played better on the Legends, or did you think it was about the same when we played the pinball? Because you didn't like it that you had to slap player 1 and player 2.
Yeah, because like
Smack them around.
like why not just like put the player 1 and player 2 on the sides like the actual ping?
That's what people are
pinball.
doing in modding. The new cabinet has it, but
Putting it on like the sides and then the buttons to do the
nudging.
the
and the
flappers.
Yeah.
Just do it on the top.
Yeah.
That would be more easier because
So he was not. Yeah, he was not a fan. He was playing it over here. But
Wait.
the other thing is the trackball, right, on the gamer. There's a trackball, but I mean, unless
But there's not a lot of support for it.
No, that's I mean
that
so,
does not
it-
do you any good.
yeah.
I mean, when that first got unveiled, it was shown without a trackball, and they had like the artwork where the trackball was, and that was the first thing I was like, hey, please cover that up because it looks like an eyesore that you
Right.
got this
Well, yeah.
eye of Sauron, in the middle of the gamer without that trackball, and then they did cover it up because they offered a free trackball, which is nice, but there wasn't enough support for the built-in games for it. So it's kind of like, hey, it's a bonus, but it's almost worthless bonus because you can't really use it. But I think I counted like 3 or something games
You
that I
could
could think of.
like why don't they replace the trackball with those spinny things for like the racing games?
Yeah, see, him and I are spoiled. That's how we play off-road. We use the spinners as
Yeah.
steering wheels for Ivan Stewart's offered. But I'll tell you, this is nice. I took it to the kids' church, and the kids were playing it. They thought it was cool, being able to. You can hook it up to a projector. Like, they have the arcade one-ups, but they thought it was cool that you could move this
If you
anywhere.
don't have the cabinet. I mean, if you don't have the cabinet, and
Right.
you're-
They were mostly playing
like that.
Star Wars.
there you go. Yeah. So absolutely, yeah. Go this route if you don't have the cabinet, you're short on space. This is, a 2-for-1 deal for you. You get a little bit of pinball action, you get the arcade, you get all the benefits and the features of the ALU ecosystem. But if you're already an existing owner, I mean, there's honestly nothing there for you. I mean, simply put, I mean, you're just not going to get anything extra besides those flipper buttons, and that may or may not even interest you, depending on how you like to play pinball.
You could reenact the movie with Fred Savage in it, where he has that big screen. And he's
wizard?
playing, and he's playing Mario Brothers, and on the arcade, you could do that if you get the gamer.
I mean,
And it's interchangeable.
yeah, it's that was one of my like childhood dreams, is hoping that Nintendo contest would come around and I would somehow magically get pulled out of the trailer park and selected to be on that. But one can hope maybe Nintendo brings it back. Was it like
One
10
of the
years
other-
ago, I think again?
What's that?
I think like 10 years ago they tried to bring that like Nintendo
Yeah.
competition back. So
I
maybe.
think one of the best things that they did though on it, compared to the original Legends that we have, is the player 1, player 2, rewind, and menu buttons. They actually added graphics to them, so you know what's player 1, what's for the novice. Not necessarily us, because you're going to change them out, right? You're going to put whatever in that you want, your Hap, your Sanwa. But for normal people, I had so many people go, well, which one's player 1? Which one's menu? Which one's rewind or whatever? So kudos to AtGames for doing that.
My OCD is still firing every time though, because those 4 buttons are not in line. And
No,
like I said,
you're
that's
right.
just a super nitpicky thing, but every time I'm like, oh, these all need to be symmetrical. We got 1, 1, 3, 4. And I'm like, no, get them all in line.
Yep.
Get them all in line.
No, like
That's all I ask. Future releases, whatever, please line them up.
so if you don't know where the buttons are, like, and you don't have anything to know where it is, you can just ask someone that knows how to print and knows all the buttons, and then just
Yeah, you could
print
do
it out.
that. But the other thing that they didn't do, or did they on the original? Because I changed my graphic as well as you. Did they have it printed on the X, Y, A, B? Did they have menu player 1, player 2, and rewind?
No,
I don't
it was
remember.
it was on the board, not on the button.
Right, it was on the board. So,
Yeah.
but on this, it's not on the board. It's just the X, Y, A, B are all on the board, but not on the butt. You know.
Yeah. They should have done it.
But
on
not
the
everybody
button.
knows that.
They should have done it on the button for like.
For the
like,
original.
That you can't like even take off the sticker because that's what they originally did, but only for the A.
Oh yeah, you're thinking with
They
arcade
actually
one
should use small OLED screens
up.
so that you can see what it is on the button. That's what you got to do. AtGames, I gave you $1 million deal there. Little LCD organic
Oh, my
displays
goodness.
on them. Boom.
Or
do
you
it up.
could just do like a 3D screen that shows you.
Oh, even
like,
better.
Like
Yeah.
He wants to go
or-
3D like with the
or like-
Pixelcade. You
or
know?
like virtual where you could see like it like shows you where the buttons are with virtual light up letters for it and stuff. I'm going all future stuff.
There you go.
That's funny.
Nice.
Well, guys, we're gonna have to wrap up here, and we're gonna have to see next week. We'll be back, but we appreciate everybody coming out. We want to wish this guy a very happy birthday. Want to let him get to his cake and
Happy birthday to you. To you. Happy birthday, dear dog. Happy birthday to you.
I just love that Glenn looked like he was being tortured. I mean, he's just playing around.
He is now one with the Alvins. Chipmunks.
He's become one of the chipmunks. He's assimilated into the
Hey,
chipmunk
it's
lifestyle.
a retro. It's a retro thing, so be glad it's a retro
You know,
song.
I didn't do this yet, but Daniel now has an Instagram. He wanted to get on Instagram, and he's been posting a little bit. And thank you for those that have been following him. I am kind of monitoring it with him so he doesn't get crazy people following him. But if you want to go follow him, it's what is it? Arcade
It's,
Dan.
no, Dan's Arcade.
Oh, Dan's Arcade, yeah. Dan's Arcade. Instagram.com/Dan's Arcade. You can finally follow him. And he posts some different pictures and videos and
Mostly videos.
mostly videos of
I just
fidget
recently,
spinners and
just posted today a recent video of the original Ghostbusters Firehouse with nothing on it. I put the remakes of the real Ghostbusters figures on it. It didn't come with the doors or the pole, but you could just find that for like $20 or something.
he's been watching Doug too long. You see this?
Except
He's hip to the game. He knows how to play this.
except the pole you could just get for 80.
Oh yeah.
And,
Just anyway.
yeah.
But he's got to start somewhere. So it's a great way for him to get on there and post little videos, post little pictures. So go support him. Dan's Arcade. Yes. What were you gonna say,
You're going
Glenn?
to corrupt them young.
That's there you go. There you go.
And also, I only watch Doug's videos and not Glenn's. So.
Wow, man.
Wow.
I remember a time when it was the opposite. He watched at least 30 seconds of my show before he turned it off. Now I get nothing.
That's because you're not doing toys.
I mean, I only watched 1 second of a video and then I'm like, okay, I'm bored. and then put it back on.
Hey, well, wait. He was probably talking about Pong or something. That's probably what happened.
No, I love Pong, and he was talking about Pac-Man and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I hate this.
Oh boy.
Brutal.
Yeah, he's just.
And then I switched.
I think
Every
we're gonna
week
have
I'm getting annihilated.
We're
by
gonna
him.
have to do a celebrity death match between Daniel and Glenn pretty soon. I
in
think.
Centipede.
In Centipede.
We still have
There we
to
go.
do it.
There we go. I got it. We have a Pong off.
A Pong off.
Oh
Yes.
Yeah, we
wait,
do.
no! I suck at Pong. Don't.
You were just talking about how much you like it, though.
But I
Okay, here's
suck.
what we're going to do.
I suck,
Here's
but
what
I
we're gonna
love
do.
it.
When the Kong off happens, I'm
Oh.
almost positive Richie's got a Pong machine there. He's definitely got Centipede. We'll do it out. Bring it, kid.
Very cool.
Bring it.
All right, big baby.
All right, guys. Well, we want to say thank you to Mr. Glenn Planamento, youtube.com/GPlanamento. Make sure you guys go subscribe and follow
Unless
his.
you're Daniel.
Yeah, follow it. After Daniel just gave you that rousing, introduction.
Rousing, hurtful, and I even subscribed to Doug's channel, and not even
You don't even have a subscription to YouTube, so
dude.
you're subscribing with my stuff. So just back off.
So,
Mhm.
So if you want to spend all your money that you earned all week, you can subscribe to Doug, youtube.com/cooltoy, because I'm sure you will end up spending money.
Doug breaks your bank
I got some
account.
more toys to show everybody this weekend. So
We were debating. I was saying last year. I said these guys need to get a website. They need to get it going. And Doug was like, "Well, I need to think of one." I thought of one. DougBreaksTheBankAccount.com. That's what we should do.
there we go.
Hey, no, I
There we
thought of
go.
it.
Yeah. Well, either way, we should make it the website, not just a Facebook page, a website.
Mhm.
And then and then we start with it, and then we start it, and then the next YouTube
But-
channel,
But
and Facebook,
I'm gonna just cut him off right now.
and oh my gosh.
Doug and Glenn and all you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. But Rex, if you're still here, Glenn's been dating. You better get that show up and going pretty soon. Otherwise, you're not going to have nothing to talk about. Glenn's not going to be able to do
Yeah,
it.
we've only probably got 5 or 10 years before I can find someone, so you better hurry.
So you better get going. Get that going.
Yeah.
So, guys, we appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week for more of the Retro Buzz. Take care.